Greetings and salutations, and this is TechRenard here with more Resident Evil 2, the revisit, the redo, whatever, I call it both at this point. Let's be real here. And I have good news. I mentioned, I think it was the last part, it was either the last part or it was the second part. I mentioned how I might not be able to do Leon B because my run of it wasn't going too well. But then I restarted the run and actually was doing really good and even finished it. I got hand pain right now, so I literally finished it right before my hand started hurting. The hand pain wasn't caused by playing the game. I wasn't playing the game too much, you know. I was playing like maybe an hour or two of it a day. And that was it. Hello? But I will say this. That was the fucking shortest run I have ever done of RE2 Remake. Was my Leon B scenario, but it is partly because it's the B scenario and a lot of items are given to you early and yada yada yada, all this stuff. But yeah, cutscenes, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
Stupid kid. If you just hadn't dropped that fucking thing, I could let you go.
Don't worry, Sherry. It'll be all over soon.
There has to be a way out of here.
Okay, we are on to the Sherry section. I actually have some things to say about the alternative sections of the game where you play as Sherry and Ada. I kind of prefer the Sherry one because yeah, you can't really defend yourself and it's just running from Chief Irons, but to be fair, I don't really like either of these sections that much. This one is just a lot easier and a lot shorter, so I prefer it for the fact that I could just get it over with. Basically, that's the whole reason, because in my personal opinion, the only part of RE2 Remake that isn't all that great, aside from maybe there's one section in Leon's campaigns that I don't like, but I don't think that necessarily makes the game bad or anything. I don't think these make the game bad either, but I just don't enjoy these sections. Like, the game would have been better without them. You know, but this one's a lot shorter and a lot easier, and I sped up here, but there's two puzzles in this whole... Sorry for hitting my microphone. There are two puzzles in this whole Let's Play I struggle with. This one and the chemical puzzle in the B scenario, or the second run, as the remake calls it. Because for some reason, some, like, psychopath on the dev team decided that it was best to, like, design the chemical puzzle in the B scenario to start out in a way you can't get back to. I had to reload a save for that puzzle because I fucked up. I had to reload a save to redo it because unlike the A scenario, which starts you out in a position you can get back to, you can't get the chemicals back to the way they started in the B scenario. So if you fuck up, you gotta reload. And yeah, I'm annoyed about that. That's the only time. And I don't know why I had so much trouble with it this time, because I usually get it without fucking it up too much, and I usually don't have to reload. But I have to reload in the B scenario when we get there. The only time I've ever had to reload this game... Actually, no. I'm doing a hardcore run that I'm not recording. I kind of started it before my hand hurt, but now my hand hurts, so I'm taking a break from it. But I'm doing a hardcore run at the moment, and I had to reload on that one time. But aside from that, the only time I've ever had to reload a save on this game was fucking up that chemical puzzle in this Let's Play. We will get there. I think it's like part 13. This Let's Play is going to be 14 parts. Even though the second scenario is much shorter, I guess I must have recorded it in like slightly shorter clips or something, because the B scenario, or the second run part of the Let's Play, is still 7 parts long, like the first part. But I do believe both parts of the Let's Play, I'm pretty sure, end on extra long videos. Because I don't know if this is true for the A scenario, but I'm pretty sure it is. But the B scenario's final video is going to be like 50-something minutes long. And that's before I cut it down. I don't know how long it's going to be after that. But it's like, I think it's like 59 minutes on the dot, just about. Well, not exactly on the dot. It's a few seconds over, but it's like 59 minutes of content. And I'm probably going to have to do a bit of cutting for that video because I can't commentate for an hour straight. That's something I struggle with. That's why I don't live stream. I can't keep the momentum going in terms of commentary. Like the momentum and the energy. I can't keep them going that well when it comes to doing live commentary. I'm also just not that good at live commentary. I'm better at like, well, it's not exactly scripted. This technically still is live commentary, but I can take a break whenever I want and then come back and do the rest of the commentary later. That's why that's what I like about doing commentary in post. It gives me like everything I need to make the commentary actually interesting and keep the energy and stuff. Like if I feel myself losing energy, and I'm not too stubborn to just stop doing the commentary, I could stop doing it and then pick it back up later. But yeah, we're gonna just do a quick save there because I haven't failed this too many times. I think I've failed this next section like twice in total. Maybe 3 times if I failed it in this Let's Play, but I don't think I did. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure this first... No. Okay, no, that's wrong. I was about to say the first run part of this Let's Play has no deaths, but no, we have 2 later on. And I think I did die to G1 the first go and then had to redo them. So I think there's 3 deaths total in this A scenario, this first run. And then when we get to the second run / B scenario, I think I die like 5 times. I like how I redid this Let's Play, but I died a lot more in this Let's Play. Like, I like how I redid this Let's Play to show off my skill at this game, but I died more often in this Let's Play than my initial one. To be fair, my initial Let's Play was on assisted the entire time, and this one is on standard. So, that is part of it, but another part was just... I'm a lot more brave with this game now. I'm more willing to I was about to say whisk. About to sound like Elmer Fudd for a second, but no. I'm more willing to risk deaths in this game if it means getting through like a part faster or more efficient. So there are times where like I'm just kind of like brute forcing against a boss or something, and then I die. Whereas like on earlier runs of this game for me, I wouldn't have done that. I would have played it slow and careful and wouldn't have had the death at all. That's kind of what got me killed with G1. I was kind of trying to rush the boss because I fought it so many times. G1 and G2 are the only bosses I don't fully enjoy refighting. G1 is a little fun sometimes, but G2 just sucks, man. Like, it does. It's the one boss in the game I never enjoyed. Like, honestly. I kind of cheese it in the second scenario with the Magnum, though, so that'll be fun when we get to that. I kind of abuse the fuck out of the Magnum in the second scenario when it comes to bosses. Yeah, okay, I have failed about 3, maybe 4 times. I don't know. I've played this game so many times that I've lost that I can't really keep count on how many times I've failed this part. I do know it's not that many, though, because I've had plenty runs of this game where I just did this flawlessly. The annoying part about this section here is that, and it's not hard to get around this, but his flashlight radius is huge. Like, it's bigger than you think it is. And that's why I get caught every once in a while here. Because I'm kind of going off the logic, oh hey, I'm behind this. Even though he's shining his flashlight this way, he shouldn't be able to see me. But he still can. You have to stay on the opposite side of this for him to not see you. It don't matter if you're behind a corner where he isn't even looking. You have to stay on the opposite side at all times. And that's like my one complaint about this part, aside from it just being a little less interesting than the rest of the game. That's kind of my one gripe with it, is that his flashlight radius is fucking huge when you're over here. Like, he can see you even when you don't think he can. And I'm not even joking about that. After playing this game, like, I think after this run, I will have played first run Claire at least 12 times, at the minimum, over the years. Keep in mind, I've had this game since it came out. So 12 runs as Claire's first run is not as many as you think it is. It's not like I played them back to back or anything. No, I'm on my 13th run, I want to say, of it, because I never really got through hardcore, but I'm trying hardcore as Claire first because I want to unlock the weapons you get for completing hardcore. But I'm trying hardcore as Claire first because I'm more... How do I put this? I'm more, like, adjusted to what happens in her side of the game. I'm used to dealing with liquors. I'm used to doing the Sherry section. I'm basically used to how everything works with her. There's a few things in Leon's campaign, which is why I die more often in the Beast scenario. Aside from, you know, it just being harder in general. The Beast scenario is always a little harder. But, what was I saying? I'm not as used to the stuff in Leon's scenario. Like, the dogs, for example. That's the one thing I'm dreading when it comes to hardcore, is dealing with dogs on hardcore. Because those zombie dogs are fast as fuck on standard. And I'm really scared, because on hardcore, I've already seen how much faster lickers and zombies are. I'm kind of scared of how fast the dogs will be. And yeah, I'm talking, like, I'm doing Claire scenarios, so I'm not going to deal with as many zombie dogs, and probably not for a while, but you do have to kill like 3 or 4 of them. Maybe a little more than that. I don't remember how many it is, but you do have to fight a few of them on your way to the orphanage. And yeah, in my personal opinion, the zombie dogs are the only enemy in this game that I kind of don't want here. I wish they would have put another enemy in its place. Because they're not challenging, they're just annoying. I kind of like the way they're handled better in the RE1 remake, because they're slow enough where you can shoot them, but they're still fast, so you have to watch out. I don't know.
Good to see you again, Claire.
Sorry, I'm talking over the cutscenes still. Oh. Well, I would say I'd shut up, but it's about to be over anyway. Kind of too little, too late, you know.
Do you want the girl to die?
We find out later why he wants that pendant, but or at least we find out what in the pendant he wants. We don't know why. That's something I'm curious about. Why did he want what's in the pendant?
Serious?
That's what I'm curious about, because we know what it is. I'm not saying what it is because, spoiler, in case this is the first time you're ever seeing what happens in this game, which, if it is, I don't know what rock you've been living under. No offense, but this should not be the first time you're seeing this game, is all I'm saying. But I'm going to keep it, like, a secret until then, but I don't understand why he wanted it. I know he's got dealings with Umbrella. Also, spoiler alert on that, but I don't care on that part. I'll talk about that all I want. I know he's got dealings with Umbrella, so maybe Umbrella asked him to get it from her or something. I don't know. I don't know the details. It would have been nice to have a file about that. Maybe there is a file about that, and I don't read the files in this game. I really don't. I read a lot of them my first time around, but, like, after I, like, kind of understood most of them, I kind of just don't read them on repeat playthroughs, because the only ones that are really worth reading, in my opinion, are any, like, important lore ones. Like, there's a Chris There's a letter apparently written by Chris in the STARS office. I would say that's pretty important to the game's lore. There's a note about liquors on the 3rd floor, which if you go up there before you face your first liquor is interesting. I think that one's in a weird place though, because I don't think a lot of players are going up there before they face their first liquor. That might just be me, but I don't think a lot of players are going up there before they run into the liquor in front of the STARS office, because I don't know. That just seems weird to me, especially like on repeat playthroughs, because on repeat playthroughs you already know that no, just get the fuck off me, zombie. On repeat playthroughs you already know that like that you got to get to the STARS office to even get the medallion up there, so it's weird that the note is placed up there.
Looks like the only way forward.
I think I do experience it though. There's also like a liquor jump scare up there too. I think I experienced both of those in the second run, because I did things a little differently that time. Because here's the thing. Normally oh no, actually no, it's not my second run. I was doing it on hardcore. On hardcore there's usually there's a inventory upgrade up there. So I was going up there early to get it, because since I was on hardcore, I was trying to carry an extra healing item just in case. And I wanted more space. But it turns out on hardcore it ain't there. I'll probably find out where it is later, but it ain't up there. So I did get the liquor jump scare in the liquor jump scares are interesting. The only issue I have with them is you have to go to a certain area at a certain time of the game to get them, because there's one right before you enter the actually no, I think that one is B scenario, I think that one's B scenario only, and I think it always happens. But there's a liquor jump scare right before you go down the hall after cutting the tape at the beginning of the run, at like the very beginning. Well, actually, I don't think you cut the tape in the second scenario. I think you just go down the hall. But there's a liquor jump scare right there. And then there's another one on the 3rd floor. The one on the 3rd floor can happen in both scenarios as both characters. You just have to go up there before you get to the STARS office. It's weird that it's that specific, though. Like, I think it would have been better if they put that liquor jump scare, like, on the windows right outside the staircase hall, maybe. Like, when you go up on the 2nd floor, maybe, like, you get a liquor jump scare out those windows that are across from the walkway. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming, like, things they could have done. This game is, like, really good, so, like, this isn't me going, oh, this could have been done better. This is just me thinking other ways it could have been done, you know? Like, it's just like, what if they did this or this? Like, it's a what if, not a, oh, this would have been better. Because not necessarily. The way they did it's perfectly fine. I'm just wondering if they had put it in a spot where you always encounter the jump scare, how it would be. Luckily, though, these remakes don't have too many jump scares. The only ones you really get are, like, there's 2 liquor jump scares, like I was saying before. And then there's, like, there's a zombie jump scare at some point. Actually, no, there's not. I think it's just the 2 liquors. The 2 liquor ones. Luckily, the remakes don't do too many jump scares, because to me, that's kind of cheap, and that's part of why I don't care for RE7 too much, because jump scares don't really get me as much as, like, the other types of horror this game and the remake of 4 and the remake of 1 all do, because you may be noticing I'm leaving out 3 for a good reason. That game does not try at horror. I mean, when you play on Nightmare mode, I never tried Inferno, so I can't speak for that. But if you play on Nightmare mode on that game, you do get a few, like, little jump scares, but it's just stuff being rearranged and enemies coming out at a different time than they do on the normal standard mode. So that's why it's scary, because you're not expecting it. The regular, standard, and assisted modes of RE3 Remake are way too predictable. Like, everything happens exactly how you would think it does. This game, though, and a little bit of RE4 get horror done really well. I don't like jump scare horror too much. It's kind of like... To me, it's kind of cheap. And it's not all that scary after the first... Or maybe even the first couple times you've experienced it. Like, RE7 is not scary at all after you played it at least 2 or 3 times. Aside from, like, maybe some late game stuff, I want to say. There is a little bit of scariness on the ship segment. And then there's, like, I guess Jack is still scary, aside from his jump scare moments on repeat playthroughs. But what I'm mainly saying is that the jump scares just overstay their welcome once you've done a few runs of the game. They kind of just get in the way. They're unskippable cutscenes that you can't do anything about. The only jump scares you can do something about is when Mia comes through in the attic with the chainsaw. You can actually avoid the being right up in the jump scare by going back down the ladder right after you start climbing it. And then, like, when Marguerite pops out the window right before her, right at the beginning of her boss fight, where you can just kind of back up and nothing happens to you. But yeah.
Sherry, come on.
So I'm wondering, something that's interesting to me is that the sewers have an entrance, right? They have 2 entrances. One is by Kendo's shop, and one is under the orphanage. So, I'm gonna wait and see if I'm right about this. But if I'm right, it's weird that they enter from the same spot. Actually, no, they don't. I forgot. Leon gets, like, a crocodile section first.
Are you alright?
So I guess he does get, like, a little extra sewer.
Claire?
Claire gets, like...
Wake up. He's going to get us. Wake up! Wake up!
Leon gets a little extra sewer, and Claire gets, like, the little orphanage part.
Wake up.
Like, because when you leave the RPD as Leon, you kind of just go straight to Kendo's shop, and then you head out the back and then go to the sewers. It's, like, maybe 5 minutes of gameplay, but with Claire... It's a little longer because you gotta fight zombie dogs and you gotta... Well,
Where's Sherry?
no, in Leon's case, it's maybe more like... If you don't count the cutscenes that happen in Kendo's shop, it's maybe more like 2 minutes of gameplay.
Impressive display of strength.
With Claire, it's like 5 or 6 because you have to deal with zombie dogs, you have to go in the orphanage,
Who are you?
all that good stuff.
I'm Claire. Didn't foresee this.
Oh, hi, Annette.
Where is she? Hello? What?
How you doing?
Oh, Annette. Tell me, what happened to William? I don't know. Who is that? The creature responsible for this. What? Can you help me find Sherry? Seems to be evolving much faster than expected.
You gotta like how Annette just ignores Claire most of the time here, and then when Claire finally gets her attention, she's just like all mad. Like, bitch, we literally in a zombie-infested city right now. We need communication. Like, Annette is a questionable character. She really is. Because I know her heart's in the right place because she is trying to stop the G-Virus from spreading, and she does help Sherry later on in Claire's campaigns. But it's kind of like she's kind of suspicious in many ways. And I can't really blame Leon for believing Ada about, and yeah, this is spoiler alert, but this will be something that happens in the B scenario. And it happens in the A scenario with Leon's campaign too. It happens in both of them, but basically I can't blame like Leon for believing what Ada says about like about Annette being behind the G virus and stuff, even though, like, she was part of it, yeah, but she's not the sole person to blame. She ain't even the main person to blame. The main person to blame is William Birkin, obviously, as well as Umbrella themselves. But, what was I gonna say? She kind of makes herself look more suspicious because she doesn't like being direct, and she doesn't like just telling you stuff. Like, I mean, I get it in Leon's campaign. It kind of makes more sense there because she already sees Leon working with Ada, so she might be under the impression maybe that, you know, maybe Leon's also on Ada's side, and he's also, like, and he's aware of what Ada is and all that stuff. But at the same time, what was I gonna say? In Claire's campaign, it's a little weird because, she doesn't have a reason to be that way with Claire. She doesn't have a reason to act suspicious and stuff because Claire hasn't presented herself as an enemy. At no point in this game does Claire act like she's Annette's enemy. And that kind of makes me wonder why Annette, like, acts so suspicious with Claire. Maybe she's just paranoid, who knows? That's probably what it is, really. She kind of seems like a paranoid character. And especially after what happened with, like, William Birkin and stuff, I kind of don't blame her for not trusting people. But it's still a little weird that she makes herself out to look more sus, though. I don't think she's doing it intentionally. It's just, like... And this isn't really a complaint about the writing. I'm not one to complain about Resident Evil writing, because this is my favorite Resident Evil game of all time. So I'm not here to, like, bitch and moan about the writing, because that is probably the weakest part of this game. But it's still good. It's still pretty good. It's just the weakest part of the game. Resident Evil has never been a series for good writing. Maybe good character writing, but, like, there are some questionable dialogue choices in every single game. I think the only Resident Evil games I've played that don't have at least a couple lines that are a little weird might be Revelations 2 and the RE4 remake. I think that's the only ones that, like, dodge that entirely. That dodge having, like, the weird lines. And yeah, I know Leon has all those, like, action movie lines and, like, jokes and stuff he says in RE4, but those aren't really the type of lines I'm talking about. I'm talking about stuff like "chill sandwich," which is one of the goofiest lines in the series. In fact, there's a line in Revelations 2 that's perfect because, oh jeez, it's a back and forth. I gotta play that game next season of Ronan Games. Like, when I start this 4th season, that's gotta be one of the games I play, because Revelations 2, I got so much love for that game. Not as much as I do this game or the RE4 remake, but I have a lot of love for it. It's also really nostalgic because it wasn't my first RE game, if I remember correctly, but it was one of my first ones. Like, it was the game that got me into the series. Like, I had tried an RE game before that, but it wasn't that good, or I didn't really enjoy it, or there was something about it. But Revelations 2 was really the game that got me into the series because I loved it. It was amazing. It came out in 2015, and I played it on PS3 with my sister Cherry. It was the first Resident Evil game that really had me going, wow, this is an amazing game. And then the next games I tried was RE1 Remake, which I didn't care for the first time I tried it, so I wouldn't touch it for like another 3 years after that. And then I tried, I got the RE1 Remake free from PlayStation Plus, by the way. That's how I got that one. Then I tried RE7 when it came out. And even though I loved it at the time, and I still got some love for that game, I kind of feel like it's overrated. That's why I complain about it more than I do praise it, because I feel like there's nothing left to say praise-wise, because everybody's already, like, done in the praise. Like, there's so much praise for RE7 that if it was physical items, you would need a whole stadium to fill them up. To store them. Okay, if there's so much praise for RE7 that if it was pennies, you would need the biggest bank vault in the world to store every last praise given to the game. It is the most overrated Resident Evil game. And that's not to say it's a bad game. You could still be a good game and be overrated. There's a few games like that. Honestly, as much as I love Detroit Become Human, I'll admit it's probably a little overrated. Like, let's be real. I don't have nearly as much to say bad about it as RE7 because I'm a little more blind. Like, I'm a little more blind to its negative parts than I am to RE7's because I've played it less. And I just love Detroit Become Human more than RE7, so I'm less willing to look at its negatives. Or well, not really less willing, I'm just more blind to them. Like, there's some games I love that I'm kind of blind to most of its negatives, and then there's some games I love where I'm willing to see the negatives, but I also see it as a masterpiece, like this one. This one is on the latter list. Like, I love it a lot, but I'm not exactly blind to like the couple negatives it has, but I do think it's the best Resident Evil game in the series, with 4 being barely behind it. Like, it beats 4 Remake by like maybe 2%. And the only reason that 2% is there is because I enjoy the classic survival horror style of this game more than I do the action of 4. If I'm being real here. I watched a video where like somebody was explaining that like going forward they should kind of like do like a combination of how they did RE4 and RE2, where like it's the style of RE2, but when there is combat you can parry and stuff. And I kind of think that's the direction to go. That's actually a similar style to what a lot of Revelations 1 did, because Revelations 1 had some like very classic RE layout areas, but then like when you had combat you had more options than just shooting. You could kick enemies, you could dodge them, you could do stuff like that, you know? And so I think this guy was onto something. I don't remember what YouTube channel it was, but I watched the video and I was kind of like, yeah, that's kind of what they need to do. Because RE4 was fun and all, but I kind of would have appreciated if more of it had like a classic RE layout. You get it a couple times. Like, the part where you first run into the regenerators kind of feels like a little classic RE style, just a little bit. Not just because the regenerators, which are horrifying, but also because like the layout in that area kind of just feels a little more classic RE. Maybe not like the old PS1 classic, but maybe like closer to like how RE2 Remake is handled in those regards. And then there's a section in the castle that's like that too, where you have to complete this Chimera puzzle, which leads into and then once you complete it, you do this Ashley section. But the Ashley section is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the puzzle part itself, because you get multiple rooms you can go into to get the heads you got to put on it, and that kind of feels like classic RE2. So it's like, just stuff like that. I just want them to do stuff like that a little more. But keep, like, the parry system and stuff. The way I would suggest doing it, honestly, is maybe have, like... have a game laid out like RE2. Not the exact same map or anything, but, like, with the same, like... kind of idea where it's like you slowly open more doors and stuff, you solve puzzles, all that stuff. Have a map like that, but then have a few rooms in that map that are filled with enemies where you get a little more actiony with your gameplay. That's, in my opinion, a good way to balance that together, because that would be an interesting way to do it, in my opinion. But yeah. I'm gonna get these keys right here. That's the only reason I came down here, because I'm not doing it. I always save this section for last, because it's my least favorite part of the sewers. Well, next to the G2 boss fight, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I always save that section for last, though. But we are going to be ending off the video here, so bye.